welcome everyone to this future-proof container terminal episode. Today we got an interesting guest, Rob Miller, currently Chief Marketing Officer for Hyperloop Transportation Technologies, well known as Hyperloop TT. And I will describe why interesting is not only due to his passion for transportation, but also due to his background in neuroscience. And, especially these days, as we're hearing a lot about Hyperloop technologies, it will be awesome to hear from you. What is all this about? How this technology will be interacting with the current infrastructure, and the most important one, how this technology will change our way of working. So with that being said, Rob, welcome to the virtual stage.
Chris, thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. Look forward to this conversation.
Great, Rob. So the plan for today is that I had been putting together some questions around this technology, and you feel free to share your thoughts, lesson learned during this journey. And if that is okay for you, let's go for it. So, Rob, I always like to ask this question. So how will you describe terminal operations in one word?
How do we describe terminal operations in one word? From our perspective, overloaded. Efficient is another good word, but where we're coming from, we're looking at it as overloaded.
And Rob, do you see this overload is because infrastructure, basically is the same over the years, due to the constant changes, or can you share your thoughts?
For us, we look at the growth, and 90% of global trade today is conducted at sea, and in the past 50 years, we've seen a 1,400% increase in ship capacity. That doesn't seem to be slowing down. So we're looking at how, what opportunities we have to further add efficiency and optimize and speed to the terminal.
Interesting. So Rob, jumping into the main questions for today's session. So once I think on the Hyperloop, the first things that come into my mind is speed, and I think that's not only me, but many of my colleagues who will probably have this same thought. So could you share a little bit more about what is all this technology about?
Yeah, sure. I think it might be beneficial to go back for a second to really understand what Hyperloop is. Because when you say Hyperloop, I think probably if we ask people, 20 different thoughts would come across with that one word. So we have this one loaded word. Hyperloop is actually a concept that it dates back to all the way back to the 1850s, where we had two gentlemen in New York trying to build a pneumatic tube underground system, and London as well. The first patent for a Hyperloop system, it goes all the way back to the early 1900s. Robert Goddard, I think 1918, 1919, for this kind of train in a tube system. So it's not a new phenomenon. It's just we finally have the technology and the will to put it together. So what is Hyperloop? We started in 2013 after Elon Musk released his Alpha paper, because he saw the price tag for this high-speed rail from Los Angeles to San Francisco, and wanted to make a change. Thought there was a better way. So Hyperloop essentially is we take a capsule, or it looks like a lot like an airplane fuselage. You put it in the tube. You reduce the pressure to between 10 to 100 Pascal. You add a next generation magnetic levitation system, and you get airplane speeds on the ground with zero emissions. That's completely sustainable. And for passengers, we've been working a long time in the passenger space. You're talking about the cost of a metro ticket or a train ticket, or sometimes even a bus ticket. So that's the promise of Hyperloop. The technologies, you may ask, is this what futuristic technologies are using? And the answer is there's not really anything that doesn't exist today. So this is all existing technologies. And it's really that no one has put them together before and we finally have the will and the opportunity to do that.
Interesting the background you share, Rob, and I really like how you, in a few words, describe this Hyperloop concept. And what I may say, yeah, it looks simple, but it's totally a journey, and somehow you had to figure out the formula to make it work these days. But coming back to our main question, so how can humanity, Rob, benefit from this type of technology, especially these days that we are facing these climate change challenges? So could you tell a little bit more about what are the main benefits of the Hyperloop?
I think it's a few things. I mean, one, we need to think about sustainability, because we took a look. I mean, we're polluting way too much in transportation. We took a look when the world slowed down a little over a year ago, when we stopped moving from place to place, the environmental benefit the world had. Here in my town of Los Angeles, we had the cleanest air in the US for a few days. There were towns in the Himalayas that saw the towns in India that saw the Himalayas for the first time in 30 years. We're losing months and years of our lives to pollution caused by transportation, and we have the opportunity to reboot and build sustainable transportation systems. So that's one. Obviously, people, when we talk about Hyperloop, they want to talk about speed. You can travel at the speed of sound. You can travel airplane speeds on the ground, and obviously that's a major benefit. But it's really not only speed, but it's efficiency as well. So we believe we can build profitable transportation systems, which means that mass transportation is not subsidized by the government, but it can be built in public-private partnerships. And this combination of sustainability, speed, and efficiency are the real benefits we think of the Hyperloop system.
Interesting, Rob. And I really like you mentioned this sustainability topic, but at the same time, it will be profitable. And I really like, because it's a balance between those. And I am involved in the terminal design aspect of container terminals. And sustainability is on top of the priorities for many leadership teams worldwide. And Robbie, coming back to the Hyperloop technology, how about the current state of this technology? Is something that we will see this more and more in the next 5 years, or probably sooner than those 5 years? So could you share a little bit more what is the current state of the development for this technology?
Right. Chris, you're asking, when can I ride a Hyperloop, or when can I ship a container by Hyperloop? So where we are today is we've built a full scale prototype in Toulouse, France. On the passenger side, we're moving forward with the certification center, the first 5 to 10 kilometers of a Hyperloop that you and I can ride. On the freight side, we launched in 2018 this project Hyperport with HHLA, the operator out of Hamburg, and we're announcing next steps. We've just released the designs. We're announcing next steps at the ITS World Congress in October. But the reality is that whether it's by people or goods, this Hyperloop is not a futuristic project. This is happening today. It's not a matter of if anymore, Chris. It's a matter of really when. And the when is, it's not decades away. This is years. So we're looking at transporting people and goods by the end of the 2020s.
Yeah, you mentioned really interesting points here, Rob. So you mentioned that the Hyperloop will be dedicated not only for transportation of cargo, but also transportation of passengers. And I may expect, you're facing quite many challenges on both sides. But coming back into the transportation side, once terminal operators invest in port equipment, somehow those equipment will be within the port boundaries or within the terminal boundaries. But I may say that for the Hyperloop, it's even more challenging, because you will be interacting with the terminal equipment. Somehow you will be also interacting with public streets, probably subways, highways, among many others. So could you share a little bit more about what are the drivers to invest in the Hyperloop?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that you look at a few drivers. One is that the congestion at the ports. The ports are generally high value real estate, especially by the water. A lot of them are adjacent to urban environments, so you get a multiplier in traffic. If we can bring that system inland, there are numerous benefits both for the everyone in your world, but for the city, for the state, for the country as well. So I mean, we're talking about this something that is challenging. It would require a public-private partnership in most places, but the benefits to society, it goes beyond one company or a handful of companies. This potentially is good for all citizens.
Fully agree with you, Rob. And we are both passionate about transportation, and on a daily basis we are both solving puzzles, and we love to solve puzzles. But when it comes to the terminals, these days there are quite greenfield terminals worldwide. Most of them are brownfield, and I am supporting customers on this eco-efficiency and automation journey, and there is like a no one size fit all solution. So it's like case by case, and I can expect it's the same for the Hyperloop. So could you share your thoughts on how the Hyperloop will be interacting with this current infrastructure?
Yeah, absolutely. You hit on a really critical point. We're likely going to fail if we don't engineer to current industry standards. So, our solution, it's a plug and play solution. The capsules are completely capable of accommodating the weight and dimensions of either two 20-foot standard containers or one 40 or 45-foot container or a high cube container. So it is plug and play into today's technology.
It's really interesting, Rob, that you got on the table this point here that you need to be aware of what is the current standard in the industry, so you will be able to adapt and interact with this current port infrastructure or equipment. But Rob, have you already identified like a showstopper? Something like if you don't address it now, it will totally disrupt your current deployment plans?
So I think it's really about investing. It's really about the opportunity to invest in the future, right? So if you take the Port of Hamburg, the Port of Hamburg is, where our partner HHLA there. For me, visiting there for the first time, the level of automation and the level of innovation within the port system was incredible. It's now been a few years since we first started having conversations, and however, it kind of ended at the gate of the port where there was a 45-minute backup of trucks waiting to be loaded. Right. And so automation can help there to an extent, but there's still a few choke points within the system that we really have the opportunity to innovate and address. And this is an industry that is really obsessed with innovation. So I think that we've talked about it. We talked about the trends in automation, the trend and being able to provide an opportunity to have a new technology here that can provide 10x benefits is one that a lot of people are really excited about considering.
Yeah, fully agree with you, and it's awesome when you achieve this sweet spot between the technology and people, and you see how automation can really improve decision making, and you can reach those efficiencies you are looking for. But Rob, part of my job is also to support customers on the not only identifying which is the best handling concept or solution, but it's also about putting on the table, supporting them on creating business case for each type of solution. So having clear what will be the capex, opex, and ROIs, and it will be interesting if you can share a little bit more about. Had you already put the numbers on the table? When we talk about automation, especially the capex is something that we need to carefully evaluate. So could you share a little bit more about what is your approach regarding the Hyperloop solution?
Yeah, absolutely. We've done, and this is a new piece of infrastructure, right? So we're adding a piece of infrastructure to the current system. So the economics have to work. We've done a lot of work in the passenger case, from detailed feasibility studies. We've done feasibility studies in a few continents in the world. We completed 2 years ago a multi-state feasibility study from Chicago, Cleveland to Pittsburgh. So we're done by a third party, and the numbers came back extremely promising. For Hyperport, we've done the internal work. The next step is, and we'll be talking more about this in October, is to be doing feasibility studies and talking to port operators around the world about that cost benefit ratio. So it's a critical point, and there'll be more that we'll be announcing a bit later. But from what we've seen internally, the benefit outweighs the cost.
Really interesting, Rob, and that you got this cost benefit and you are quite aware of it. And I will be keeping an eye on those results you will be sharing based on your studies and development. So really interesting topic here. But we are almost reaching an end to this, Rob, and I would like to hear from you. What are the next steps for the Hyperloop TT developments?
So we've released a design concept video, which is a simplified version of our Hyperport system. We'll be participating at the ITS event, the ITS World Congress event, in October in Hamburg, provided that we still have an event. There we've put the fully engineered, or the pre-commercialization system into virtual reality, and we'll be announcing the next steps there. So anyone in the industry who's planning on attending the ITS World Congress, you can visit us at the HHLA space, and you'll be able to see the engineered version of this in virtual reality.
Awesome, and it's really cool that you're using all the technology available to show off the capabilities of the Hyperloop. And I hope we can meet at Hamburg on October. And before closing, Rob, I got this question here. And do you believe Hyperloop will be something that we will see only on developed countries, or you're expecting this can be deployed worldwide?
Yeah, I think this is not a technology for the rich, or for developed countries only. You can think of the leapfrog benefit of adding to new technologies into developing countries as well. So our interest the interest we've received so far is really worldwide. It's not isolated to one or a handful of countries. So I think that the benefit of Hyperloop is not a single country or single nation. It's really the human benefit. So I think we'll see it adopted around the world.
You join this session, for all of us involved in the terminal operation, not only on the design, but also on the commercial aspect, infrastructure, civil, and many other aspects involved in the industry. It's really interesting to be aware of all these technologies and how they will be changing, especially our way of working. So I really appreciate this, and as I told you before, hope to see you in future episodes when the development are almost there, when we can, as I told you, ride on a Hyperloop. So really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Chris. It was an absolute pleasure. Enjoyed the conversation.
Thanks, Rob. So hope you like this session with Rob Miller. Really interesting thoughts. I really like how he described the Hyperloop in such few words, and I am aware that even though he explained it quite in the simple way, there is a huge complexity behind, and somehow they need to make all this work. And we touch interesting topic, especially on how this technology will be interacting with current port infrastructure. So I think they got many challenges ahead, but for sure they will overcome those. So let me know in the comments below what you consider will be some of those challenges, how you're expecting this technology will change our way of working in the terminals. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.